This is Jake Laughlin bringing you another episode of Discover Denton, a show brought to you by the Convention and Visitors Bureau, highlighting events around Denton. This week we have Kim Phillips of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, as well as a couple of local celebrities, Hank Dickinson and Larry Parker. With football season right around the corner, we are talking about one of the greatest pastimes in Denton, and that is the art of tailgating. So without any more ado, here is Discover Denton.
Good afternoon, Denton, and welcome to Discover Denton Radio. This weekend is a big weekend. All of our students are coming back to UNT, to TWU. We've got parents, students, everybody in town this weekend, plus the North Texas State Fair is still going on, so it is a huge weekend. Lots to look forward to. It's going to be busy and the energy's going to be high. But with school getting started, in fact, I think first day of classes is Monday, we got football season on the mind. And today, I've got two guests with me here on the show. Hank Dickinson is with the University of North Texas Athletics. And tell us your title. You're deputy.
Oh, you know, I've been around long enough. I've had several. I'm deputy athletic director, and I do have a badge. I can show it to you if you'd like.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we have a badged professional here from the
Basically
University
a glorified assistant athletic director. That's what it is.
But he's got the scoop on what we can expect in UNT football. And this is important because the activity that we're going to highlight today is tailgating. And I'm calling this show The Art of Tailgating, and we have with us also Larry Parker, who owns Denton Depot here in Denton. And Larry is reputed to be one of the finest tailgate aficionados. And so we're going to find out exactly how to go about that. And if you've never been tailgating, we hope to turn you on to one of the favorite pastimes here in Denton, especially during football season. So let's start with Hank. Hank, it's a big year for UNT. We're going into a new conference. Tell us a little bit about that.
You know, I think two things stand out this year. We're celebrating 100 years of football at North Texas, and we're going into Conference USA. And for us, it's landing in a conference, Kim, that gets us back into playing regional teams. I think for years, even when we had great success in the Sun Belt, unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of allegiance to the opponents that we were bringing in town. But this year alone, we'll have 3 Texas teams coming here to play, and they're all league games, so they all are really important. And that includes Rice coming here on a rare Thursday night game that'll be nationally televised. We get to play a team that's just fired up football in the last few years, UT San Antonio, and their head coach, Larry Coker, won a national championship at Miami. And then we have UTEP, a team we haven't played since the 80s. But a great opportunity for our kids to line up across the way from kids they probably played in high school. And those games mean more, and we see that in the few times that we've played Texas teams. So Conference USA, I think the biggest thing for us is it's a more prestigious league, but it also brings teams here that people are going to care more to come out and see. And that's good for North Texas. For season tickets and for single game sales, that helps us.
And people that come from the other locations
people that
to
travel.
Follow their teams. Mm-hmm. So that's really important, especially in our neck of the woods. So that's great. Big games. Are there certain teams that we ought to really pay attention to that are going to be the biggies?
Well, you know, I mentioned a couple there. I think when you throw Rice out, a team that obviously was an old Southwest Conference team, it's going to be neat to get the Owls up here. And we had a good crowd last time they were here at Fouts Field. And that one is nationally televised. We have a lot more TV in Conference USA. I can give you the old coach's line, every game's important. And for us to open at home, to open a season at home for the first time in 12 years, I think the Idaho game on August 31st is really important. It's going to be a hot day. Going to be really hot for those kids from Idaho. And we hope the tailgating, you know, is what we think it can be despite the heat. Our people like to come out and spend a full day. It's a 6 o'clock kick. So, yeah, I think the very first game of the year is very important. Again, homecoming is always a win-win for the city of Denton because so many people come back and spend a little bit more time in our town. That's November 9th against UTEP. You know, 6 dates. I think each one of them brings something to the table. And Larry's a great fan. I'm sure he's got some opinions on maybe from a fan perspective what the biggest game is. But right now, 9 days out, I'm going to tell you it's Idaho.
Well, that's a perfect segue into the tailgating thing. Larry, you've been tailgating with University of North Texas for years, like way back to Fouts Field days. We're going into our 3rd season at Apogee. Can you compare for us a little bit? How different is tailgating from Fouts to Apogee?
we always had a lot of fun over at Fouts Field. It's traditional to get out there on that parking lot and what they had set up over there at Fouts Field, but it is absolutely no comparison to the grounds behind Apogee Stadium. You have the hill, you have the trees, you get a lot of people out there. It's becoming a community, if you will. It's the new American community, they say, of tailgating. So tailgating is actually a traditional part of football that is, I would say, levels to any height that you might see according to college football. So tailgating it's all about game day, though. Mm-hmm. Get your game on.
Yeah, you go in, tailgate before and after, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot of people that stay when you have a 6 o'clock kick, like Hank said. We've actually stayed out there a couple of times till midnight. So it's just hard to leave a good, fun spot.
Mm-hmm. Well, is tailgating still going on also in Fouts, or is Apogee the only place to tailgate?
No, there's a lot of things going on over on Fouts Field. I think probably more students hang at Fouts and they cross the bridge, come over. But what's really great about the Apogee side, again, you have the hill, you have trees, you have some level ground over there that people get out there and fight for their spot early in the mornings. People get out there. We have tents. We stepped out there and got us a UNT mean green tent.
All right.
So we're really into it. You see green everywhere you look. Friends everywhere. The smells of barbecue pits going. You got to have your beverage of choice and your friends around you. Good music. Even though the band marches around during while you're out there at Fouts Field, which is a fabulous addition to what you're doing out there. But food, fans, it's amazing what happens out there. It's a great community of Mean Green family.
Gets everybody in the mood to cheer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, my next question was going to be, is there special equipment or specific components that you really need to include to make it a great tailgate? And you just hit a lot of components, but...
Well, to go along with the food and friends and music, bring some games because everybody starts
Good
early.
idea.
I mean, it's a real early start, and you get into it. But you need your comfortable chairs, some shade if you can't get under one of those beautiful trees out there, and tables. You want some tables for your food to be set up on. And if you're grilling, bring a good grill out there and fire it up.
Do people go from tailgate to tailgate, or do you pretty much stay in your little area?
Absolutely. We see Hank and some of the other crew out there running around in their golf carts, swinging by, visiting everybody and keeping us going and motivated. But it's without a doubt, you've got to go see it to believe it, because it is truly an amazing activity.
And I think people try to show off what they've cooked. So Larry's going to share with you, if you know him, what he's working on. And if you go to the next place, you got a chance to sample there. I would say it's very welcoming everywhere you go, and it's probably pretty fattening at the end of the day.
I bet so.
Very much so. Very much so.
So the sharing, that's what I was thinking, is you don't want to just bring a ham and cheese sandwich. You want to bring stuff to share and to engage other people, meet new fans.
Absolutely. I'll tell you a quick story. One time we were set up and we had our tables all around, and we had a little bowl, if you will, of M&Ms sitting over here on the side of the table, and about 25 college kids comes walking down the sidewalk where we were, and they just said, "Hey, can we have some of those?" And the next thing you know, about 60, 70 college kids were walking by, seemed like randomly picking up on those M&Ms. But that's what it's all about. Again, it's just people out there having fun, sharing. Very rarely do you have any complications out there, because it's all like-minded Mean Green fans out there mostly. I mean, the opposing teams come out, and we welcome them. We let them know they're here to have fun, and we help them have fun as well.
Do the opposing teams tailgate right there in the midst of the Mean Green fans, or are they separated?
They do. They don't get a good spot, though. We have all the good spots taken care of.
Home team gets the home spots, don't they? Is there a favorite food that you and your wife Tanya have when you tailgate?
We love wings. We do the wings a lot, and that's what's good about it. When you have your group of friends, everybody kind of believe it. Tailgating begins Wednesday or Thursday before the game day on a Saturday. So everybody's preparing their foods, and you come with everybody's dish designated as what you're supposed to bring. So it's all about sharing. Certainly hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken wings.
Do you have a favorite, Hank?
I'm a rib guy. If I would have time on game day, which I don't, I would start some ribs in the morning and go. And I'd like to stop by because in this town, we got so many great bankers, and all the bankers like to come out and show off. Mm-hmm. And so I could run through a bunch of names that a lot of people would know, but boy, you find a Randy Robinson or a Marty Rivers or on down the line, you're going to have some good ribs out there on game day.
No doubt.
I grew up in Kansas City. It's a great tailgate town, and I miss the opportunity to do what Larry and them do. We're out there busy working. We've got some other things we got to do, but I really like what's happened at North Texas. And if you've driven by the stadium but you haven't come into it and looked around, this parking lot that he talks about, it's not visible. It was part of the old golf course. So imagine an old golf course with a grasscrete lot in the middle and all the choices, like he said, for shade and topography. It's one of the best locations in all of college football, and I hope more people in Denton will realize that.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal, but you don't see it from 35. You got to come in and check it out.
Yeah, it's not just lined up alongside the freeway. Yeah. Well, here's the tip I'm getting from this is if you're going to tailgate, bring extra food for Hank.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea,
Okay.
and I've got staff members that will follow along as well. Yeah. So please do. We will sample on game day.
Is there a favorite spot that you found, Larry, out there in the new Apogee?
Well, we kind of defer to the flat ground that we can find, and there's like I said, there's a big hill, big knoll, very close to the stadium there, and that's where most of the kids, the students, I should say, are set up, and they have their thing going on over there. So the true tailgaters kind of get out near the parking lot and the flat grounds. So we've got our spot, and we get there early and try to grab it every time.
So you see, folks out there, if you have never tailgated, this is one of those Dentoning activities, one of those things that we do in Denton that is a fantastic way to enjoy our community, to meet new people. It's just one of those fun things that we do as Dentonites. So if you've never done it, this is something you've got to try. Let me ask you, Hank, do people have to have a ticket to the game in order to tailgate? Do they pay to tailgate? How does that work?
No, tailgating is just an activity that's tied into the game. So, I mean, I don't know that there's anyone out there that's tailgating that doesn't have a ticket to the game. Now, the tailgating's good, and sometimes it keeps you out there after the kickoff, but they're one and the same. That's a game day experience that includes the football game. So, I would tell you it would be silly to come out there because you'd be standing in the parking lot alone once the ball's in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Now there are some students who we have to sometimes remind that the game is going on, and we've got them real close to the fire. We just need to play a little bit better football, and I think that's going to happen this year. And then they can go out and restart the party right afterwards. The other thing I would tell you, Kim, is our game times are now subject to a lot more change because of the TV games. So
this conference brings a lot more TV.
A lot more TV. We're on TV 9 of the 12 football games.
Wow.
And with the new Fox network, we're picked up a bunch on Fox.
Excellent.
As well as CBS College Football. The reality is we'll have a lot earlier kicks. Now, we've tried in the early season to go late to try to beat the heat and to try to allow all the parents that have youth league activities some time to still be able to tailgate and watch the game. But the reality is I think you're going to see a lot more 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock kicks, which means maybe part of your party goes on a little longer after the game. But either way, come out and just make it a day because it's more than just a football game. It's really an event.
Oh, yeah. And I've found football is much more fun when the party is attached.
There you go.
Where can people get tickets?
Our ticket office is now located inside Apogee Stadium right off South Bonnie Bray, and it's inside a team store. So you heard Larry talk about, tents and tailgating equipment. You can get all of that. You can get your gear, your hats, your tickets. You can join our Mean Green Club and support scholarships at the Gate 2 entrance to Apogee right off of Bonnie Bray.
Okay. And everybody can you buy on the day of? Or?
You can. I think if you're going to do what these folks like Larry and Tanya do, you're better off to have your tickets in advance and not have to worry about late game traffic and getting in. We'd love to sell them in advance. Walk up on game day is going to be just like going to a big concert or a big Cowboys or Rangers game. It's the same thing. If you wait till the last minute, you're probably going to deal with more lines. I would buy them in advance and be able to come in day of game and be totally squared away.
Perfect. Good information. Anything else from either one of you fellas?
All I got to say is get your green on and just tailgate.
There you go. I love that.
We'd like to clone Larry and Tanya. They're the perfect Mean Green fans.
They
We got a
really
bunch
are.
of good fans, but they set the example for what we want. Classy to our opponents, but ready to root on the Mean Green and have a little bit of fun doing it.
I love to go to the games, and I love tailgating, and I've tailgated for years, but Larry is my mentor. I'm learning tailgating at a new level. So get out there and learn to do it yourself. This is a way, way, way fun to spend weekend time in Denton. Welcome back to all the students, and here we go with a new semester. Thanks for listening today, and we'll see you next week on Discover Denton Radio.
There you have it. That was this week's episode of Discover Denton. A big thanks to Kim Phillips of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Another big thanks to Hank Dickinson and Larry Parker. A huge thanks to Gravity Feed for providing the intro and outro music. I'm Jake Laughlin, your host. Join us next week where we will be bringing you more highlights of our original and independent city. And in the meantime, go enjoy Denton.